There you go.
Hello, and welcome to Dash Force News, Three Amigos podcast with myself, Joel, and Brian. And today has been, this week in general has been quite a big week, as it always is for Dash. The biggest topical point, the big story of the week was Dash and Litecoin overcoming the sluggish market to achieve all-time highs. So that was my mini introduction for you guys. So what do you guys think of Dash reaching an all-time high this week?
I think it's sweet.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, yeah.
Mostly, that's one thing that they talk about. Our community is like we hit all-time highs, and everybody's, oh, great, excellent. Other communities just totally flip out and go crazy and start trolling. We're like, okay, cool, great. Good.
I mean, Litecoin has been kind of going down a little bit for the second half of the week. So wait till it goes up again. Go to the Litecoin subreddit, right? Go on Reddit, go to the Litecoin subreddit and just be like, yes, chicken arise, lightning. Rah! That just like literally the entire subreddit, like the first page, some kind of like woo yes to the moon type price thing. A third of them mentioning the intentionally misspelled chicken. So when Dash goes up, there's like 2 or 3 posts about, is this a new high? Yep, I think it is. Like that's about it.
I noticed Joel got some new art. I like that Dash D there.
Yeah, you like that? It's bittographs, and they take Dash for it. This is starting up here at the Genesis block for Dash. So it's like all the transactions, and it's just I just didn't want to do blue.
Everybody's complaining we didn't have art, and so I went looking for some art, and I just right around the neighborhood I happened to find some, and yeah, look at that. Actually, that's old. Mine's decades old. It's from my teenage or pre-teenage days. I found this somewhere lying around.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to send you guys some. Maybe I'll just put it in the comments of the video when it's done. Other cool places you can find art. I have something coming from CryptoMind as well. Spelled just like mastermind, right? And it's taken a little while, so I don't know. I got to check on that. One of them's like a custom. It's like a Dash logo keychain. It's like a Dash logo bottle opener, and on the flip side, it has like your QR code. So you can just have that on your key, and then open beer bottles or whatever. It says Dash, and then if someone's like, I forgot my wallet, you're like, that's okay. You can just pay me in Dash. You just flash the code, and there you go.
So where did you get that one? That's on your wall. Who is that? Who does that?
It's bittographs.
I'll have to check that out. I like that one.
Yeah, and they have a few different colors. You can get like a red one or the typical Dash blue. I got the green. And you can also
do they take Dash?
Okay, obviously take Dash, and they're listed on discoverdash.com. And also you can choose which block height to start at, right? So you could do like I couldn't figure it out because I'm kind of a noob and I don't like the I'm good with the Bitcoin block explorer, not so much the Dash ones. I never really figured that out, but I was going to try to do like the payouts when the Dash Force first got funded. I was going to start there just for like some cool symbolic thing, but I couldn't figure out. I'm like, whatever. How about let's start with the fast mine? Why not? Why not start there?
Yeah, I think it should be listed on the Rengo's thing on the Dash Central. It should say which block the super block paid out, I believe.
That would be a good cue to do the network stats.
Oh, there you go.
Hash rate.
Right, okay. So depending on where you check your data, as we was just talking about Dash reaching an all-time high, before we launched the podcast, I just checked on CoinMarketCap, and the highest point on their chart, on their 7-day chart, was $226. That was yesterday. However, today is a new day, and last time I checked, the Dash price was $199. The market cap is over 1.4 billion US dollars.
Woo.
The masternode count is up this week by 9, so it's actually 4,579. Each masternode is currently earning approximately 6.89 Dash per month. I believe that's down slightly from last week. and that equates to $1,386 per month before expenses. The Dash treasury stats are 24 days remaining left to vote for proposals. I haven't even had time to go through them myself yet.
Oh, I haven't even looked. It's like I'm still at the our last proposal cycle, like in my brain.
I think there's only that one. Was that the Blake? It's the only one I've seen. There may be another one though.
Yeah, he's not approved yet, but he's had. I think he's in the 200 at the moment, so he's going good. He's got momentum. The Dash Treasury budget is currently 1.3 million, so that's slightly up from last week. There is 8 of 11 proposals that have been approved already. So out of the approved proposals, 18.5% of the allocated budget has already been taken, which is $246,000 that has been claimed just this month alone. And it's probably changed, but I checked the mining stats, and when I checked it on the Dash Nation Slack, the mining was 9.4 terahash, but it fluctuates up and down all the time. So
wow, 9.4, that's crazy.
Yeah, don't take that as a gospel. It's probably worth doing another check on that.
That Genesis mining must be coming on or something, because that, man, it's been just jumping like crazy. It was like 6.66 literally this last week, and then it jumped to 7.77. And what did you say it was? 9 point?
Yes, 9.4 last time I checked. So that's probably worth just checking again. But honestly, every time I check, even on the calculators, it's always different. It just changes throughout the day. Anyway, guys, I've got a question for you. So we started to talk about the all-time high, and Joel did an article this week on it, and Brian, you had some interesting theories as well, because we was all talking about there's kind of been like a delayed market approach, right, from the initial Dash Evolution roadmap announcement, and Brian had an interesting theory behind that. Can you remember what your theory was, Brian? Or do you want me to remind you?
Yeah, remind me. I don't remember. What was it?
Can't keep my theory.
Coinbase.
Oh yeah. No, I mean that. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, there's always, it seems to be a delayed reaction. And when you're talking about all-time high, I still remember like back in the day when we thought, I don't remember, it was over $10 and it was like a big deal, and then it hit 15 or something like that, and then it crashed and everybody was depressed. And I can remember reading all the comments in the Bitcoin talk, and people, it's never gonna do anything, and it's reached its peak, and no other coins ever come back from that. And yeah, we've come a long way since then.
Okay, and Joel, you did an article about the all-time high this week. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, well, I can do something about that. So part of it with Dash, the response, there's a few factors. I mean, obviously I see a ton of trading from Asia, particularly Korea, right? And so it could just be like, I didn't notice BitHum, the Korean exchange, on the charts at all, like back when I used to pay attention, and now it's like everywhere. It's a top contender. So it sounds like it's just renewed bit of interest with that. Obviously there's like the delayed reaction to the evolution roadmap. The news has to like filter through the crypto sphere. I've noticed with other coins sometimes, or at least with like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they do a big announcement, like they just call a press conference or whatever, and then all of a sudden it just hits, the news hits right away. With Dash, it's like the news hits us, and then it takes like a week to filter out through, and then people are like, what? So the big reason that Dash is going up is because it's a do. And you find that every time people are always like, everyone's all speculating about price in all of cryptocurrency. And then with Dash, there's always outsiders and stuff. Why is the Dash price so high? What happened? Why did it go so? And the Dash community tends to just be like, yeah, it was bound to happen. It was time. Like, have that, like, it seems like a lot of people tend to think of their coins, their favorite coin, like Bitcoin's going to go to 5,000 by the end of the year. Just watch it. Or, Ethereum's going to do this, or they tend to say it's going to. And Dash fans, in my experience, tend to be like, it's already like worth like 1,000 or more, or whatever. We're just waiting for the rest of you chumps to catch up. Like, it seems to be that very like cool, confident attitude.
Some people wait. Yeah, some people wait because there's always the you know they say buy the rumor, sell the news. So that's another reason there's a little bit of delay. People think, oh, everybody's going to dump now that there's big news, and they wait and nobody dumps, and then it boom takes off.
Yeah, I think both you guys are right. I think it's a combination. I think one, Brian is right about Coinbase. There was a big news story that came out this week that Coinbase added 1 million users in 1 month, and with all those new registrations, they've got to do their credit card transactions, put their money in, typically to get Bitcoin or something else. There's probably a delay, so that might explain why. So if someone just suddenly decided a newcomer they wanted to get into Dash, a lot of people's gateway is to use Coinbase because it is so well known. Secondly, I think Joel's point about Korea is right on the money, and it still surprises me. The 24-hour Dash volume today coming from Korea is 20%, right? And over the last few days, I've seen it as high as 36%. And just to give you some kind of idea, for example, the US dollar is only 19% of the volume today. And please keep in mind, the South Korean population is only 50 million. And yeah, so the Koreans are just buying and buying. They're loving Dash.
So I checked the numbers now, and it seems like Korean trading is about 10% of market of the trading volume. It seems like Poloniex is the big 1/6.
What site are you using? Are you using Crypto Compare?
Coin Market Cap, and then switching over to markets.
If you use here's what I use. If you use Crypto Compare, because all these ones collaborate data from different exchanges, and what I found is that with Crypto Compare you have the best rounded experience. So 1 second.
Are you getting paid by them as well? Now you're Dash shill and a Crypto Compare shill.
No, it's a free site.
Good.
They do really good for the API. So this is why sites and businesses like their data. So we can see the Korean currency is like over 20% at the moment. This is for the last 24 hours. US dollar is just over 19%. Bitcoin's still making up the mass of it. Now, like I said, these last few days, Bitcoin's actually been a lot lower down. So today's actually quite unique. Maybe because it's a Friday, I don't know. But yeah, so it's really, really interesting. I recommend Crypto Compare just for looking at data for all cryptocurrencies. But my go-to places to check price is still CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, and speaking of that, you go to CoinMarketCap. Top 13 coins in the red. It's a bloodbath. Crypto bloodbath. Everything's down. But I'm still Dash is down. It's so low. It's like 199.62 cents. Yeah, that's so low. It's 0.79 Bitcoin too. So we keep on making a lot of grounds against Bitcoin.
Yeah. Good. There's a lot of activity in Asia this week in the cryptocurrency world. So I've got a question for you here, Joel, because I know you asked me about this, but Joel did an article earlier on the week about Japan, and Japan sort of had an announcement that 260,000 merchants will be accepting Bitcoin in Japan. And
mind blown.
Yeah, and I believe what the merchants are using to accept Dash is CoinCheck, and Joel had a brainwave and said that to me that I think CoinCheck accept Dash as well as a payment. So did you get any further with that by any chance?
No, I contacted them a few ways. They didn't respond. I contacted someone I know is in the crypto scene who is Japanese, and he doesn't seem to think so. And I don't know. It wasn't fruitful, but I didn't get an answer. No.
Oh, that's a shame.
I think it should be pretty easy. It's like,
yeah.
Because Coinbase isn't an exchange; it's a service, and GDAX is the exchange, right? And so GDAX and Coinbase don't always work in. They don't always sync up, right? There's things that are on GDAX before they're on Coinbase, for example. Now, CoinCheck, as far as I know, is an exchange, and it's a service like that. And I think that would mean that they could easily convert anything, right? They have Japanese yen trading pairs with Dash. So they can do that. And now the idea is like, what do they do with the point of sale system? Like, it should just be you hit an option and then you take Dash. But I don't speak Japanese, so that's kind of where my involvement in that ends.
How many people do we have in the? Is there comments or anything going on?
We've got lots of comments, but not many questions.
Yes, people don't have questions. They don't want to know. They already knew. They wanted to know things before in life, but last week we kind of answered it all. So, what's the point of asking anything else? You already know the answers.
Okay, well, just to add on to the Asia thing, there was some news that dropped just 4 hours ago about Japan's biggest electronic marketplace. I'm probably going to say this wrong, but it's called Akihabara, and they've just started to adopt Bitcoin as well. And apparently they're the biggest electronics marketplace. So expensive cameras, games, consoles, anything you can imagine. So this is just another stepping stone. So the 260,000 new merchants in Japan with CoinCheck was actually announced earlier on in the week. This announcement today with this new marketplace is fresh from today. So something is happening. There's definitely momentum and movement. So it's just interesting because there doesn't seem to be much presence with Dash in Korea and Japan. Yeah. So with all this volume from Korea, for me, it's just like a big question mark because to my knowledge, we don't actually have that much of a community or an outreach project. I can probably expand on that a bit more, but what do you guys think?
Yes, but I do know that they just translated the Dash site into Korean. So there's at least that. But I guess it depends on what you're going for, right? It seems like Eastern Asia has caught the crypto bug, right? China's always been a big player for a very long time, but I have not heard very much about China using Bitcoin for like purchases. It seems to be mostly mining and holding, right? And it seems like Japan's leading the way in Bitcoin adoption globally, at least from this kind of news. And anyway, so it seems like it's
central bank related.
Strong way.
That's what it is, because Abenomics in Japan, they totally. You thought the QE was bad in America. Like Japan's the poster boy of just like printing money. They make like Ben Bernanke look like a schoolboy, so like choir boy.
I think Mark or Michael said it's illegal to buy stuff in China.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's all about it's all to do with the central banks. You can't. There's lots of rules. So perhaps I can talk about Dash Force China later on in the podcast. But in the social media, there's lots of strict regulations. So even if you want to post a video on their equivalent of YouTube, Youku, it has to be checked. So you can't use cryptocurrency for anything for payments. You can't mention that because that's against the central planning, the central bank. So they don't want that being talked about as well. So there's lots of taboos, lots of no-goes. And for example, we can't talk about things like Alt 36 because drug still has the death penalty over there, even for cannabis. So, I mean, you have to be very, very selective. It seems you're very limited to what you can talk about. But like I said, it's a very big topic. It needs a specialized section.
It's interesting how that works. That there's a lot of stuff that's illegal in the U.S. as well, but like talking about it isn't necessarily. It seems like anyone can say just about anything they want and not get into legal trouble unless there's like a couple things. You either got to yell fire in a crowded theater, right? Cause a panic and then you get people mad at you, or you got to say something about avoiding taxes or something and then they get you. That's always something like that. But
it's First Amendment, protected by the First Amendment. And you can write books on cannabis even before it was legal, and they can't. It's First Amendment protected speech. Yeah.
And I just think it's funny about like you can't talk about like China is such a big place, and it's such trying to be on the cutting edge of lots of stuff, and it's just funny that balance from. I mean, obviously, try not to get too philosophical in non-crypto ways here, but it's funny that balance trying to be like a heavyweight in digital currency, but then just so restricted. And like, I wonder how long that wonder how tenable that balance is, right? Long term. Anyway, we got Dash Aerosports saying,
Yep.
Mastermind, what do you think about the Dash ATM? Brian's idea.
The Dash. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think that'll add
The Dash brand.
Yeah, I think he's going to set one up there at the Aerosports show in their pavilion or whatever, so people can access it.
So what they did is, I just read about this this morning, right? The what is it called? Byte Federal has 8 Dash ATMs in Florida. I believe they have 8 ATMs in Florida, and then they switched them all to Dash thanks to Dash Aerosports' good old-fashioned lobbying, and now they've been convinced to brand their ATMs, make them Dash branded, not like a Bitcoin ATM that just you can buy Dash from as well. It's like now they're going to be have like a wrap with like the Dash logo and stuff like that. And yeah, it's on Brian, if you don't mind taking a gander over to the Dash Nation Slack and just scroll up a little bit in the Dash Talk, they actually have the picture of the new Dash ATM.
Yeah, I haven't even checked any of it today.
Yeah, it looks really cool. And
is that article you were writing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even checked it.
We doubled Dash ATMs around the world, the active ones. There's 16, I believe. I think CoinMarketCap, not CoinMarket, Coin ATM Radar lists something like 13 or 14, but they missed a couple, and then one of the ones they listed is not currently active, and I'm waiting for it to be active before listing it on Discover Dash. But it's that's one of those things. Not only is it a throwback to the legacy, to the old financial system, so people think, oh, well, how do we get money? You go to the ATM, right? But also, it's private. Like, you don't have to deal with all that AML, KYC stuff and start an account and fill out paperwork. You can just go and buy a thing. So even doesn't matter how compliant you want to be with regulations, it's just a pain in the butt, you know? And there's something about just you walk down to the little thing there, shove money in, and then you just get crypto out. That makes it so accessible to people, and it's really expanding. It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, I wanted to say just one thing, just on a personal note, that my dad did go to the hospital this week, and he had some seizures and stuff. So the last couple of days, I've kind of been in and out, and I haven't been able to keep up with things the last couple of days. Had to cancel some Skypes, but yeah, that's so yeah. I did not read this article today, or I haven't read much of them the last 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, how's he going now?
Pretty good. He's still in there. He's probably going to be in there for the next few days. So yeah, hopefully out by Monday. Yeah.
Well, that's good news, I guess. But yeah, that's the other thing about this world, right? Is it's so fast changing, right? You have to take a personal day or a few, and then it's like you wake up in a different world, right? There's just so much that changes.
I can't keep up with anything but Dash. That's why we all had our 3-way conversation. I was picking Joel's brain about what Bitcoin's doing and all the different segwits, because I can keep Dash and not even all of Dash lately. It's so crazy.
Yeah, and then Bitcoiners can't even keep up with Bitcoin. I mean, a lot of people are confused. Like, what is the Craig Wright thing going to happen? Is you going to stop SegWit? Well, now there's SegWit 2x coming out, but does that not SegWit? But it's not SegWit, and some people don't want it because SegWit isn't SegWit. But like, which SegWit is it going to be? But like, are they going to activate that and then the 2 megabyte? Like, there's just so many things out there. And then a few weeks ago, Charlie Shrem managed to send a Bitcoin transaction for like 25 cents, which was way lower than fees have been. And just a lot of people have been doing cheap transactions lately, and they're like, no, see, Bitcoin works. This was all, it was all bullshit. It was like, it's working. And you look at the article I put out today, just a couple hours ago, Bitcoin transactions are way down, right? The transactions have gone way down. And when people point that out, they're like, yeah, someone stopped spamming the network. They were spamming the network. And for one thing, it's impossible to know, like, unless you have some kind of verifiable data, it's impossible to know where those transactions came from, what kind of transactions they were. And just like why just someone just stopped in to know if the intent behind the transaction volume is just crazy. But what we do know is right about the same time that you see Bitcoin's transactions going down, Ethereum's are going wee all up, and they've passed Bitcoin's transactions and remain comfortably there. And Litecoin's got a nice little spike too. Dash has been a little bit less dramatic with all that, but you just see that, and it's an off-chain scaling solution for Bitcoin. These are moving off the Bitcoin chain onto other blockchains, and
yeah,
it's pretty funny.
I did manage to watch that crypto interview last night, really late, with Evan. I don't know if y'all saw it. I made a post about it. I don't know. Did we post that post? Or
the crypto show.
Yeah, I've got a post waiting. I don't know. Did it get posted or?
No, it hasn't been posted yet. I've not even had a chance to watch that yet either. Sorry, listen to it. Sorry, it's audio, isn't it? SoundCloud. No, I've not listened to it either. We'll post it after the podcast.
So I'll have to see that. Evan's been on a media tear lately. Usually he's been Dash Core in general is fairly reclusive. They tend to do their own thing. They tend to just focus on making Dash pretty cool. And Evan is just like, all right, I'm out. I'm not heading up Dash Core anymore. I shut down my master nodes. I'm doing this other project, Dash Labs, and more importantly, I'm just out there to talk again. So that's a very welcome thing. Now, here's a bit of Dash news that's exclusive. I'm breaking this news. Actually, I'm probably gonna write an article for Monday about it for the people who aren't listening to this podcast, but. The Dash GitHub request for the 2 megabyte block size increase in November is now up. I was there when it went online because my buddy Darren Tapp, who lives here in New Hampshire, he's working on it, and we share a co-working space. And I'm there, and he's just like, "Hey, Joel, come over here. I'm about to do it. I do the 2 megabyte block increase. I'm going to do it." And so now it's up. It's not like it's the first dip. Dash improvement protocol. Before there,
why didn't you record it? We could have put that on Twitter and everything.
I was running around. I was trying to finish an article for the site that you run, Mister. It's your fault. No, but anyway, yeah, the first dip is online, and that means it's not just are we going to raise the? It's like no, now it's serious. Dash will raise the block size.
Yeah, and that's a historic moment. We're going to look back on that moment because even
don't be one of those that says a soft H on historic. Unhistoric really annoys me.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
Right, okay. You were just talking about Ethereum before, and obviously last week we was talking about the Ethereum crash. That was the big news of the week. And another story that's come about this week, I don't think you guys might have had a chance to see this yet, but there was a class action lawsuit against Kraken Exchange for the Ethereum flash crash. Yeah. And apparently $1 million was lost. And I don't know the full details, but I think a lot of people are upset. I don't know if they were margin trading, but they were saying that there was market manipulation and expected DDoS attacks. So I guess if lots of people were shorting the market and they just started DDoSing the exchange so no one could do any buys, then I guess that kind of would work. But I don't know if people were just clutching at straws, just trying to just sue anyone to get money back because they just saw that they lost out.
We'll never know.
Was it Kraken or was it Coinbase? I thought it was Coinbase.
No, this lawsuit is against the Kraken exchange. I don't know about Coinbase. That may be so.
Yeah, I know there have been the reason why the Coinbase is stuck in our heads is because you get that a lot, right? Every single time the price crashes, you get Coinbase goes offline. Every time the thing goes, Poloniex is under a DDoS or something, and it's one of those things that's just kind of fishy, where it could be completely innocent and it could be very malicious and intentional, and you just can't quite prove it. You can't quite prove it, and it's hard to know. But I mean, it is suspicious. But on the other hand, could it be when the price crashes, everyone is just trying to bail and they all just flood the sites, and then the markets just go down? It could be that, or it could just be they intentionally DDoS the markets just so that no one can buy in at the bottom and make a quick buck.
Yeah, I don't like these margin traders that use leverage things. So, they're doing 5 times the amount. It's just so dangerous. And it really concerns me of all these new users coming into the market where they just want to day trade. They don't have any allegiance to any coins. That's absolutely fine. But they're just trading absolutely blind. They've got no financial trading experience. And yeah, I find it quite scary. So am I surprised?
We should push for a global cryptocurrency trading license. It's mandatory if you want to be on one of these exchanges.
Well, it's just the madness. Do you remember?
Do you
remember the Bitcoin ETF? I mean, how ridiculous was that? So you're going to have it ETF, so a paper receipt for the same price as what Bitcoin is. So you could have a Bitcoin or a paper receipt that has nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just absolute madness. It's just ways that people have come in, they've tried to hijack it and to line their own pockets, and it's kind of that's the problem with Bitcoin. It's lost its true message along the way.
Well, that's the thing is, I'm not sure if that's Bitcoin's fault necessarily, but I do like it is like a central banking kind of thing. Like, remember when there was people minted silver coins and gold coins, and that has like the intrinsic value or whatever. And then, oh, we're going to have silver certificates. That's what the paper money was. It's a silver certificate. And then, oh, well, there's no silver yet. Well, you can have this piece of paper or you can have the silver. And eventually it's like, well, who wanted the silver anyway? You got the paper. And then now it's like they're trying to get rid of cash. So now it's like, who will use the piece of paper that meant the piece of silver? You just got the nut digits in the ledger that then,
that's slightly wrong, though, because with silver, the silver price is dictated by the paper market, by the COMEX, not by the physical. And as Brian and me were both keen precious metal investors before this, we'll both tell you that at some point, the paper receipts were actually 300 paper receipts to actually one physical. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
And I think that's why so many precious metal investors actually got into cryptocurrency, because they could see the sham of the central banks. They understood the monetary policy, and they just realized they were being taken for a ride. Also, lots of Ron Paul supporters and libertarians understood this. If anyone's read the book End the Fed by Ron Paul, he goes into this, but the whole M2 money supply, everything. So this is what it is. People were upset because every single market, the Enron, the energy market scandal, manipulated, the currency market rigged, LIBOR rigged, everything was rigged. And then the precious metals market as well. You had Deutsche Bank come out, rigged. So it seems like the only true market value that was left was cryptocurrency. And I think that's why you're attracting so many big investors now, like the Winklevoss twins that wanted to do the ETF, because they're coming in now, which is why you got people like Tone Vays that were former Wall Street people, but now they've seen the new excitement on this and they want to jump on the bandwagon and hijack it and steer it in their direction.
That's something very interesting. It brings up a much bigger, much more insightful point that I'm going to have to write a bunch of things on, of what is crypto, what's its purpose. The technology is pretty clear for technical people, right? It just does this. It's like, but what purpose does it serve? And a lot of people are like, nah, it doesn't serve any purpose. Way back in the old days, right? And then the true believers in crypto saw what it was going to do. They saw the purpose, which is pure financial transparency, right? There's only going to be this many coins in existence. They're all public right here. You can just look at the network data. You can just see it all. It doesn't necessarily have to be attached to a personal identity, but it's just all that you can't manipulate. You can't mess with that. It just is. And then you got a bunch of other ideas that come along that sort of don't go back to the roots. And for example, when you have a completely anonymous ledger, like a completely encrypted ledger, right? So you can't actually see these things. It's like, how do you know how many of this unit of currency are in existence? Like, I'm sure like Bitcoin had some of those problems as well. And then you got a lot of people now who just see crypto as cool, and then they either come in because of the money. They're like, yeah, I love crypto, trade crypto, money. It's all about a quick buck. Or they come in and then they start getting all nerdy about the technology without grasping its purpose. why do we need this thing? What does a blockchain, what is a distributed ledger for currency? What does it do? How does it change the world? Got to think on those things.
Yeah, the with the silver and the gold, yeah, it's legal for them to, they have to have the reserves and whatever, and the gold and the silver, but they can have the paper ETFs up to like 100 to 1 what they actually hold in the physical. So if everybody called it in, said, "Oh, we want our silver or whatever," they couldn't do it. And yeah, a lot of crypto people, Ron Paul people, the deeper they dove into this, they realized that, and then just how manipulated the price is. And that's one funny thing about a lot of the gold and silver bugs still today that didn't get into the Bitcoin or Dash or any cryptocurrency at all. They think that gold and silver is still so pure, but it's controlled by the banks. I mean, they should know that, and they do. I guess it's kind of it's a blind spot for them. But yeah, the banks control most of the gold. Silver is more the everyday man's precious metal. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, the banks do control the gold still. The governments control the gold. They tended to want to take their high horse, but yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, you're right. And there's actually a clause in the COMEX, right? So with these paper receipts, because the rigging is coming from banks, there's a I don't like to use the word cartel, but in the COMEX, there's 5 banks: Citibank, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank has left recently because of the whole manipulation scandal opening up. So they're trying to get out of it now. And then there's a few UK banks as well, I believe, that are into it. But with COMEX as well, so basically, these banks, where they've got their casino arm and they're just borrowing so much money because they can create money out of thin air, they can short the market and manipulate it, just like they did with LIBOR. And what happens is it's okay, because with COMEX, all these people got paper receipts. It's in the clause in the writing that even if they go bust and they don't have the physical out the back, they can settle with the dollar denomination amounts. Which was why Ron Paul was always talking about, Fort Knox and stuff. Is the gold really there, So this is why all these stories come about.
That's a funny thing about the dollar amount settle, as I actually had a friend of mine had stuff in, I believe, Bitfinex during the big hack and everything. And so they issued him Bitfinex tokens. So he had, I think, Ethereum, and then a bunch got stolen, and then he got issued the tokens, and then when they were able to pay back, it was only redeemable in US dollars, and he had to submit identification paperwork in order to get that, and he chose to just walk away from the Ethereum. And I think a lot of people that happened, the same thing happened with them. I think that might even have been here's the conspiracy theory thing, right? Is what if Bitfinex did that on purpose because they didn't have all the money back, but they knew a bunch of people would never submit their identity and claim their funds. So that's always a little bit of a thing. But really quick, every time, Brian mentioned silver. Every time someone mentions something like that, I'm gonna flash this little piece that I keep around the and the Fed silver piece.
I like that.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, way back in the day.
I've got one of those like slave queens. As you've probably noticed, we've got the queen on so many of our coins. So there was US guy, I think it's Chris Dwayne, had the Silver Shield collection. So the slave queens, I quite like those.
Yeah, putting people on money is a little bit of a weird thing. It's especially like you take it for granted, whatever country you're in, whoever's on your currency, it's like, oh, it's just a thing. And you go to other countries, start looking at their paper and silver and whatever. And you start thinking, like, who the hell is this guy? Oh, that was And then you go to and you like look at the people on the United States currency, right? In fact, they made some dollar coins recently, and then they had I forget, so like Sacagawea or some Native American woman on it, and then they're it's funny, a lot of people like the Thomas Jefferson $2 bills. They're very rare, and Thomas Jefferson was a little bit of a libertarian folk hero. And so I once got, someone paid me once in entirely $2 bills stamped with Bitcoin stamps, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, one thing about one last thing about the silver and stuff, the gold in Fort Knox. Yeah, there is conspiracy theories whether it's there or not. And one thing that Ron Paul raised, well, maybe it's there, but we don't know how much is loaned out or allocated, for loans. And they're trying to audit that as well as the Fed, but I don't. They haven't got too far. The Fed's gotten better. Maybe this time it could get signed. And then one other thing on the how they fix it. There was something Mark may know about it. The London fix where they were caught fixing I think the silver and the gold price. And yeah, the manipulation. They've been caught. That's one of the things that just pushed me over. And I'm like, yeah, crypto. You gotta.
Yeah, this is going to surprise a lot of people. Anyone that's interested in monetary policy, central banks, and probably watch lots of documentaries on YouTube are probably familiar with the name the Rothschilds. And basically, there was something called the gold fix, which was set every day in London. And it used to be done by the Rothschilds. So basically, very old school on the phones. What should we set the price today? And that's what would happen. But more recently, what happened was there was a whole network of people in different banks, and they were talking to each other online to short the market. So they all got together and shorted the market, and all the text chats have been dumped and leaked now. So there's a huge investigation going on. There's one with the CFTC, even the guy, what was his name? It got so strong that he actually left his job. Clive, something Bart.
Bart Shilton?
Name like that. Bart Shilton, yeah. So he left off, and now he's written a book as well, which is quite interesting. Yeah. It's kind of this is just the funny thing, because it's the same thing. You get all it's like the heads of the Federal Reserves. Now Ben Bernanke's left. He's talking. Remember Alan Greenspan when he left, and he's just like, no, gold is money. He openly says it. But when they're in a position,
strong gold bug now.
Yeah, they can't say it when they're in position, and they know it. And you see when Janet Yellen talks now, you just know. I know she's had her whole coughing fits and all this sort of stuff, but you just can't believe a word they say. So now they just make up terminology like forward guidance to kind of help the markets, because no one believes these people anymore. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's that's back to the original reason one might get into cryptocurrency, is because it allows this easy escape from the financial systems. And just like, remember the whole India cashless thing? So they literally just, took a lot of money out of circulation, just said, nope, that's not money anymore. We're going to reprint it. And a lot of people didn't have the proper ID or anything to claim the new money, right? So it's just literally, they just erased and reprinted a lot of money, and then they took a lot of it out of the people's hands and just retained it. They just play this game of we're going to reshuffle the deck. That's another reason why people don't like coins that have been redistributed or have had their mining algorithms messed with or whatever, because you just you do a launch and you don't like where the coins went, so you just relaunch, so it's something in your favor. But anyway, speaking of the old financial system, we got a question in there in the live chat. Have you heard anything about the new Dash Pay card? This might be a good time to talk about both that and 10x. So yeah.
Right. Anyone got any news on the Dash Pay card? I can say something about 10x, but the Dash Pay card, I've heard nothing. Anyone else?
Last week and a half ago, something like that, I asked Charlie Shrem. He said, there's some delays, but it'll be out. I'll have some big news for you in Brian and Evan next week or something. Or he said he'd already spoken with Core and we'd all have some big announcements or something. I think that was either this week or last week, that the week where we should have gotten a thing. So I'm pretty sure it's about time to start another, maybe a Friday night Twitter bomb for Charlie Shrem. Be like, Charlie, where's our GD card?
Yeah,
not looking good.
Yeah, I think last time we spoke, he had kind of a week deadline, and I think he's just overcome that now, just past it. So I think now might be okay to give him an extra elbow. But with 10x, in last Friday's podcast, I said that I had a message back on Twitter from Dr. Julian Hosp, who's the CEO of 10x, and he said to me, if you send me an email, I can set you up with a card. I didn't get back around to doing it, unfortunately. Other things came up and I got sidetracked. However, there's a other chap on Twitter called C4 Chaos. If you remember, he was the guy that had bought the Tesla car and wanted to deck it out in Dash branding. Anyway, he received his car, I think today actually. So although it's still not activated in the application, you can see Dash, but it's when you click on it, it just says contact support at 10x.com. So apparently if you contact their email, they will configure your application for you, because you have to sign up by email and register your phone number, etc., etc. And yeah, and then they can send you a card. How long you have to wait for that card to reach you and country dependent, I can't tell you. But I think C4 Chaos, from his Tesla and his photos, I'm pretty sure he's US based. So that might be interesting for you guys and most of you guys in the chat.
Yes. So also one of our Shark One Masternode owner, good long-time community member, he posted this I believe Wednesday, right? Or where he says, okay, I've had it. 2 weeks have passed, no express card ever received, and nobody ever gave me concrete info at support. I decided I'll order the card myself, give you actual money to force a reaction. I can't do it in the app because you had too many requests in the last few days. I mailed you multiple times to request Dash in my wallet. No one ever got back to me. This is absolutely disrespectful. I give up. I'll check back later when you actually have a real project. Stop behaving like amateurs and start treating your customers right.
Wowzers.
Ooh, that was an... you're listening to this thing, Julian? That's not a very happy sounding customer. And
well, based on the chat, there's not a lot of happy customers about. So I'm going to throw this one at Brian. So DJ Crypto has said, do you guys have a Bitcart contact? I bought a $50 card July 1st, but no email. Now, Brian probably got shares in Bitcart. I don't know anyone that's used Bitcart as much as Brian. So you are the resident expert on this.
Yeah, I haven't used it too much this last week, but yeah, there was 1 month when there was several $1,000s, and they most of it come through. I mean, literally, I've thrown thousands and thousands of dollars, and 90-something% has been perfect come early, sometimes within hours. But the times that it didn't, which was rarely, when they had right after that DDoS attack that they had, the best way to contact them is on Twitter, is to contact Graham personally, especially if it's been that long. That's pretty crazy. Usually they send an email or something. A lot of times they will, if I have a $500 gift card, they'll send it. Sometimes they'll send a 200, and then an hour later another 100, and then an hour later a couple of 50s or something like that. But yeah, Twitter is the best way to contact them.
Yes. So also, so here's what I would say, right? On DJ Crypto, what you should do is first off sign into your Bitcart, and then go look for all your transactions. Go to manage transactions, right? Find that. Get the info there, right? Get the transaction ID of the Dash transaction that you used to pay for it, right? Get all that, and then private message both Bitcart and Graham DeBarra on Twitter, and just say, I haven't gotten it since July. Just what the hell? And then getting all that information in the past, especially if you have like a screenshot or something of on their site where it says you did, or maybe it just didn't, but you have the transaction ID on the blockchain, right? Just when they say, well, we do everything the best of our abilities, what happened? And you just send it to them. I mean, it's sometimes been a little bit delayed, maybe like a week delayed, but it's never been they fulfill way too many orders to be trying to steal your money, you know?
Yeah, not that little one. Yeah, it probably just slipped through the cracks. I always, when I do larger transactions, I always just screenshot the address and the countdown clock just to be safe, because I mean, $500 or $1,000, that's a lot of money to be sending. And but yeah, I've done thousands and thousands of dollars, and they've always come through. Sometimes they've been a little late. Sometimes I've had to send them an email. But yeah, they're not going to rip you off.
Yes. One last thing, DJ Crypto. What I would recommend before doing all the stuff I recommended is go into your email, right? and search for gift codes.
Yeah, look at the spam
Right?
folder.
Just see if
Check
it
the
got
spam. Check the
anywhere.
spam.
Yeah, because I will say the one thing that BitCart does that's a little bit sketchy looking. They have the sketchiest looking delivery method for the gift codes. You just get this random email, just says
Yeah.
gift codes, and just has some codes pasted in there. It's just like it's really sketchy looking. So you might have just seen that and been like, "Spam? Are you from Nigeria too, brah?" And this like you might have just thrown that email away or something. Dig in your spam folder, dig in your trash, just search for that. Make sure you don't look like an idiot because yeah, and then gather all the information and then go to Graham. And if he doesn't get back to you, let me know, right? Because then I'll say, hey, Graham, I have a pre-written article about how you're a scammer. I'm ready to hit publish on Dash Force News. You want to help this guy out? Obviously, a little bit. Oh, he says over. Oh, it's in spam. So you found
Is
it?
it?
Oh,
Was it?
wow, there we go.
Did you find it? Ha! There we go. See, we're troubleshooting. We're doing BitCart customer support right here on the Three Amigos podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Where do you get this kind of service? Anywhere in the cryptosphere.
Schoolboy error. Shout out to Blake in the chat. So Blake is the Dash Bus Tour proposal, and
Blake.
yeah, I've just seen you in the chat. So it prompted me to check out your proposal. 276 yes votes and 26 no. If you're a masternode owner, get yourself over and vote for him. I love his tenacity. Also, check out the video interview on Dash Force News after this podcast, of course. And yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, the bus thing seems pretty cool. There's so many proposals. I've just not been able to give proper attention. The one upcoming proposal I'm very focused on is the upcoming, in I guess a month or so, renewal of Dash Force. And so I'm focusing very hard on working hard. So it's not just like, well, let's see if we was like, so it's just like, how do we not fund these guys again? And that's always a hard challenge to be at because, there's so many good projects out there. Someone could easily knock us out at any moment. And so that just puts the feet to our fire, our feet to the fire in just doing more and more. In fact, I recorded an interview today in addition to doing the podcast and writing the 2 articles, and I'm recording an interview this evening, and got a lot of work to do in between that. So yeah, we're working hard for our money, and I'm focused on that. So I'm sorry, other guys who are pretty cool, who are doing all this cool stuff. I'll try to get to you. If you got a really cool thing you want in an article, make sure you give us a shout out, and we'll see if we can get it done.
Yeah, we got lots of new stuff coming too, so I'm not too worried about anybody knocking us out. Plus, there's plenty of room in the budget. But yeah, I'll start working on it probably here in the next 2 weeks. I'll start preparing for the next. I got to give an update for this last cycle and the budget allocation, and then I'll start preparing the next proposal.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. There's that little bit of uncertainty, that lingering uncertainty, is just always what keeps you from being complacent. Of yeah, we're probably passing, but we might not. Like that little bit is always going to keep us doing our best and serving the community the best. And speaking of that, and speaking of Brian preparing things, I really like to give a shout out to the meetup contest we have going on.
Yeah, that's I raised the prices on some of the stuff and made it the basic one much easier. So hopefully we can recreate some of what Amanda did, but maybe not to that scale. I don't think we want to go that big. We've already done that once. They needed to take the look at the stats and see how that went. But I think this meeting will have it'll be different, and then there'll be a lot more buy-in as far as people who participate. There's not just going to be a bunch of people lining up and passing a sign from person to person. There'll be actually people who we'll have a little more buy-in. There's some checks and balances to prevent any kind of abuse. I don't know if it was abuse, but there was some villages and whatnot that had people just lining up and taking pictures and passing the sign, and that was that's great. We're getting it out there. Hopefully those people all were able to retain their Dash, and it wasn't like some guy leading the thing and taking all the money or something like that. But yeah,
interesting thing about that put out a lot of economic activity. And the way I'm able to test that is I checked the bit info charts for things like transaction volume and especially transaction fees, right? Because people are always like, oh, Bitcoin's not that bad, or no, when Ethereum fees are going way up, they're like, no, you can still send Ethereum for a penny, and you can just to check all that kind of stuff. And the far and away the most common Dash fee is 2 cents, right, or the 0.0001 fee, and that's like almost all of them are that, and then there's a few scatterings of other fees. And then I noticed the average Dash fee was going up, and so I looked into that, and almost as high on that thing was double that fee, or 4 cents, which is the Jaxx wallet default fee. And that was just around the time, like a week or so after the contest. All these people getting all this money into newly made Jaxx wallets. Ooh, already you can see it. It's just like what do you say? Like the whole thing's about North Korea at night. It's like communism. You can see it from space because there's like no lights on in North Korea, but the rest, it's just like, Dash giveaways. You can see it from space. You can see it in the charts.
Yeah, I did want to go over that meetup just real quick. Just the things that have changed. The original program's still there. I believe I raised the reward up a little bit. It's just to kickstart this thing, get it going. The meetups in general have been really falling off. Not just Dash Force, but just in general, people posting proposals and stuff. So we got to really focus on this. So the basic meetup is just yourself and 2 other people. The reward is 0.5 Dash right now. Basically, you just get 2 other people together with yourself, give them $10, send it to their wallet, take pictures of it, send it to us, and give us your information, where the meetup took place, the time, everything, so we can upload it to Discover Dash. And then the second meetup is the more advanced merchant adoption meetup. The price for that one is 2 Dash. It's quite a bit, especially since the price has gone up. And you need to just get 5 people together, and you need to find a merchant who will accept Dash, host your meetup there. Once again, give away $10 in Dash to the first 10 people or so, or how many ever you get, at least 5, and then encourage them to spend it at that merchant. And then the next month, find another merchant and do that 4 times, and then you can start going to all the different merchants, and hopefully that'll kind of kickstart the merchant adoption, and it'll get the merchants will be happy because they'll be getting free business.
Yes,
and we'll be getting merchants.
So to
we'll put it all on Discover Dash.
Yes. So to reiterate, if you're for the merchant adoption one, right? You flip a business, you get like what, 5 people, at least 5 people to come to your meetup and pay with Dash at this newly Dash accepting place. You get 2 Dash, right?
That's a lot.
You get you get more than 10 people, it's 2.5. You get like 20 plus, it's 3 Dash, right? And the point is to get a merchant to take Dash. Now, personal opinion here, right? How do you get a merchant to take Dash? So they're like, well, what do I do? If they just want to hold Dash, one of the good options is having a Jaxx wallet, because you can, depending on the equipment they got, right? But because you can link through the same seed a few different like point of sales all to the same wallet, and if it's pin protected, the employee won't be able to move the funds, right? So it's a receive only wallet. So that's if you just want a straight wallet. Now, as for Dash point of sale system, the official Dash Pay point of sale system, I believe, will be coming out some point in September. And the reason why I think this is because one of the big barriers to having like a multi-terminal point of sale system is a wallet similar to Copay, right? Like a Copay wallet that's a multi-sig wallet, right? And so that's coming out. That's on the Evolution roadmap in a couple months. So it'll probably be around then. Now, in the meantime, again, other big news thing, just breaking news. Everything's amazing. There's a new Dash point of sale system. It's anypay.global, and it's been beta tested here in New Hampshire. It works. It offers fiat conversion and is specifically modeled to clone BitPay, right? And it's not in app form yet. It's only, you log in, you can get it in a browser, but it will be hopefully in the Google Play Store within a couple weeks this month. So this month we will have a Dash BitPay
Wow.
Ah, yes. So you can take that and just take that to merchants and just get them. Just there you go. You got a really easy point of sale system. You just enter in your own point of sale terminal, like like a cash transaction, like other, and then you just whip out the little iPad. Which, by the way, you can get like a Android smartphone for like $20 at Walmart and just like give it to the merchant, right? And then just load this app on it and just here you go. You just set it up. You can have it so that the money goes straight to your wallet, your other, your Dash Core wallet, or you can have it so that it goes to fiat conversion to your bank account, right? So this will all be by the end of the month.
Yeah. One last thing on the meetup thing. We're going to be doing articles on the point of sale to help with the merchant, putting all that on Discover Dash. We'll also have a new employee who will be doing some videos, so instructional videos for merchants to make it easy to set up the proof of stake and all that. So yeah, we'll have the full package.
Yes, it's going to be it's very exciting. So many Dash businesses being added all the time. We're going to really go.
I've got two things I'd like to say. First off, while we're talking about businesses, there was actually two things that are relevant to this week. So with business adoption, last month there was a proposal that passed, which was part 2 of Alt 36. So on the 5th of July, a update report was posted in the Dash forums for Alt 36, and that was the business development and research update. And it's a PDF, but basically there was only one the previous month of June report was much better and more in depth than the one from July. But the best paragraph was that regarding to business development and research, which is part 2 that they're focusing on now, is Alt 36 is working with executive teams of point of sale systems to identify the API requirements needed to integrate and communicate with our platform. As the development progresses, we'll be able to share portions of the API with the point of sale systems to confirm all required use cases are covered. So they're in the process now of testing out. So now it's kind of like test development, making sure that the system, the platform works with all the point of sale systems on the market. So that's quite exciting. So that was the first thing. The second thing was a Dashforce news update, which is only really relevant to this week. And the third thing is thank you to everyone that continues to support the website and visit us. On the 5th of July, we did a website upgrade because in the previous month, we experienced so much traffic. Some used to reporting error 508 issues, which was because our hosting provider just couldn't handle the traffic. From the previous month, the average daily views doubled, and also our social media had a boost as well. So on the 5th, we actually migrated and transferred to a new dedicated server that Evan would approve of, because now we're on a Xeon processor. So we're a lot more stable now. Also, if you are interested in stats and knowing how well we're doing, on the 1st of every month, I release a webmaster report of all the analytics and statistics, so you can see those double average views and the traffic that we're getting, and that's available in the Dash forums. If you go to the pre-proposals and proposals section, we have a Dash Force. If you just search that, you'll be able to bring that up, and then I would be in one of the last posts in there. And we have a PDF that you can review all the data. I break it down from browsers to views to anything you can imagine, even operating systems. So that's that. Secondly, this weekend, I'm going to be very, very busy. Last week, we recruited 7 new translators for 5 languages. And initially, we need to translate the pages and the menus and the categories first before we tackle the articles. So that's what I've been working on behind the scenes this week. Hopefully this weekend, if all goes to plan, there's always unpredictable events and roadblocks and things that happen when you try to make things go live. And I'm sure there will be things we'll need to change and adapt. But that's what I'm going to try and make live over this weekend, ready for next week. And then we can start having articles translated. And for those that are interested, those 5 languages are French, German, Portuguese, Russian, and I forgot the other one now. I always get. I never.
Some country is up in arms now after slight.
Yeah. I know we have Japan to go.
Yeah,
Korean,
well, hang on.
and Hindi. Those are the three.
So if all goes to plan this month, and we get all the articles out, so basically we're going to have like one article per language translated daily, and we're going to have Dashforce social media as well. Basically, we want to establish communities, grassroots in each community. So this is a huge project that we're undertaking, and if all goes to plan, next month I intend to recruit a Japanese translator, a Korean translator, and I'm also interested in Hindi for India as well, because statistically, in a lot of the stats from Dash Detailed, and even the chaps that are doing 3D modeled animated videos that are doing adverts on YouTube, their demographics show India are very interested as well. So these are 3 key languages that I would like to explore and expand on. And finally, talking of Southeast Asia, I will be doing a Dashforce China update with Michael, just to let you guys know what's going on. I know we spoke about that briefly in this podcast, but just to give you an idea, to date, last month, Michael did about 8 videos on Chinese social media, and we'll have a proper sit down and we're going to go through absolutely everything. The game plan, the plan of action that was initially planned has had to change due to regulations and restrictions in China. Everything is still good. So there'll be an upcoming video, hopefully next week, and I'll go into more detail. Sorry for waffling there, guys. I had to get that out.
Well, yeah, apparently in China, you can't just up a thing. You got to get all your paperwork in order, and it's not guaranteed. It's sort of like trying to approve a Dash wallet to the Apple App Store. It's just like you have to ask for permission, and it takes a while, and you might not get approved, and they might not tell you why. So we already know what that's been like. Any miserable iPhone users in the Dash community have had a rough go of it, right? And they have to understand how it's trying to get anything on YouTube in China, right? Or not YouTube, but like get.
Yeah, we've been behind in China for a long time, and that was always something that it bothered me, but now I understand. Now, after seeing just how difficult it is, I understand why it's been so, we've been so far behind. But there's other coins like NIM and other coins that have done really good, they're newer coins. You expect Litecoin to, because of who runs it and the brothers who have the exchange and stuff. But yeah, it's very difficult to get into China, and I think we're finally cracking through. I think we got some people on Core that are actually helping us. They've already got some inroads there, so that's thanks to them. Alexi.
I've just had a message from Will. Will, I'm so sorry. I apologize. The other language was Spanish, of course. It was actually Muchas gracias, mi hermano. So
it's almost like we already it seems like we almost got Spanish. Yeah, it almost seems like we've almost got
He was the first translator I recruited, so I apologize.
Yes,
my bad.
But, also a division of labor, right? Even if the boss could do something better than the employee, he's better off doing something that only he can do, etc. And besides, I never learned to write Spanish very well, so someone else I'll do that better. But yeah, we're expanding, and at some point we're gonna have some place where we list every single person who's on the Dashforce payroll, because I sometimes have trouble keeping it straight because just so many people involved, so many things, and we're really growing into a large organization, right? Second largest Dash organization right now, right? We got Dash Core, which is just massive, sprawling. Everyone I know is everywhere I turn, there's someone who's working for Dash Core in some way. And then we got, the 3 of us and then a bunch of other people. And then Evan in running up Dash Labs, I think it's just him right now, but he's looking for an intern and he's looking for a Trezor developer. So soon it'll be, Evan and his buddies. So it's grown pretty quickly. So we're running close to the end of the end of our time allotment. But one thing I heard, I forget who told me or who said so, but I thought it was a good idea. So even if I forget you, your ideas are immortal. someone said that they'd like to see from us some sort of a news show, right? Some sort of a news punditry kind of thing where current events, we talk about current events and through like a Dash and crypto spin, right? And I mean, we kind of do a little bit of that on this, but this is a lot more internal, a lot more like insider, a lot more casual, right? So to do like a little bit more of a professional punditry, well, we're going to sit down and discuss these couple world issues. And then what do you think about that? Well, I think that the economic factors are one of those kinds of things. Someone said that. I thought that might be a pretty good idea. What do you guys think? Obviously, we're not going to just sit around and look at the live chat. So when the video's up, leave something in the comments or reach out to us elsewhere.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few people asking that, and we've had something planned for a while. One thing on the employees and stuff, all the part-timers, they're all listed on the proposal, and like I said, that proposal, I will be updating it in the next week and adding all the new translators to it, and how all the money was spent from last month, and then the estimate of what we're going to spend this month. So yeah, that'll be on the proposal, and as soon as I post it on Dash Central, I'll also take it and I'll post it in the Dash Force pre-proposal thread. So yeah, it'll be bumped up, and yeah, you'll be able to see all the new employees.
Yeah,
it'll be Dash Force team is now like nearly at 20 members now. That's how big we've gone with these translators. So what I'm planning on doing is on the Dash Force news page, we have Meet the Team. So what I'm thinking about is breaking down and having like a small screenshot of each profile of each person, breaking it down. A lot of people seem to forget that we've got the Dash Force mod squad as well. So if you're in the Dash Nation Slack, quite a few of those moderators are actually funded by Dash Force as well. So yeah, our team is growing, and also we owe a huge thanks to the community and the price rise as well, because on our initial proposal, I believe when that was submitted, the Dash price was about $85, and obviously the price has gone up. So that has enabled us to go out and recruit new translators and say, how can we outreach and push the Dash project more and grow and increase awareness? And obviously translators and international outreach is key to that. So the price rise and you guys voted for our proposals actually really helped us do that, to expand. So each proposal that you pass and with each price rise increases, we can expand the team and our operations. So we're really thankful for that. And hopefully everything goes to plan with the translators and we can expand on that. And who knows, if we can start grassroots movements in each of these languages, because we're going to have social media outlets for each one as well. We can do meetups, competitions, on each particular, for each specific language as well. So it could be quite interesting. It's in its infancy, we're growing, but we've got lots of ideas. And yeah, thank you for your continued support.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Dash Force is going global.
Yeah, we're probably getting close on time, but one thing I did want to say, there has been a lot of people talking about the format, and they want us to do a shorter format and, like a 10-minute or 30-minute. That's not what this is, but there will be new programs that will be more 10 minutes and 30-minute type stuff or less, shorter programs. But yeah, this is going to be a 45-minute, hour plus long podcast format. That's just what it is. But there is other stuff being planned. So yeah, just sit tight.
Yeah, this is our outlet. This is how I spend my Friday night. So it's like 9:20 here. So actually 13 hours ago, I started my work schedule. I was actually talking to Brian before he went to bed. So that's why I'm having a few beers now, because although I should be out socializing, I'm spending it with you guys because I'm Dash crazy. So yeah.
Well, that's the same thing here. I started at 7 a.m. this morning, and I have the the Dash Nation Slack timestamps to prove it, and I have an interview scheduled for 8:30 p.m. tonight. So that's going to be at least, here's where we brag about our obscene obsessions and our lack of social lives and how miserable and lonely. No, we work hard. I mean, that's what the masters expect, and we take a lot of risk doing all this. But it's also we're definitely blessed for what we're doing, and it's not like this is such an we're breaking a lot of new ground in that whenever you break new ground, whenever you're an entrepreneur, which we're kind of pioneers in that space, there's a lot of work, right? And it's fun, it's exhilarating. We wouldn't want to be anywhere else because you know what we do? We would be there. I'm happy right here.
Yeah,
that reminds me.
Go ahead.
I was going to say on the YouTube channel today and in the article, I interviewed Rosello Lopez, founder and CEO of CoinBR.net. So there's 11 videos up asking simple, short video format questions. And this is huge for Brazil. It's huge for South Africa. And they also have international global plans as well. So if you're in Brazil, you can pay your bills now in Dash. It's absolutely amazing. It's a one-stop, complete financial Dash ecosystem. So you got a bank account, so you can buy, spend, top up your phone, mine Dash. You can, and also you've got business solutions as well for brick and mortar businesses and online business as well. And those solutions are free as well. This is absolutely huge. Rosilio is an amazing guy, and some of those videos, there's two where he has one of them is a message to the Dash community. I really recommend it. It's only like a minute and a half long, but he says why he likes Dash over Bitcoin and other ones. Now this guy is kind of one of the Bitcoin pioneers. He's been around for years and years and years. He's spoken on stages with Andreas Antonopoulos. Sorry, I probably murdered his name there, but I mean, he is a really, really key figure. And one of the videos I asked him, why Dash? Why did CoinBR want to integrate Dash? And the answer he gives is fantastic, and he hits the nail on the head about Bitcoin, the drama, all that sort of stuff. Some real gold gems that he drops, and he's passionate. And also as well, he was kind enough. I asked him how the process was, how to pay bills, put him on the spot. And I didn't expect him to do this, but he actually had a couple of bills handy, and he showed them, and then he shared his screen, and he actually showed the process step by step, how you pay bills on his platform. Absolutely amazing, top bloke.
Yes, and this is all in Brazil, right?
So, well, here's the thing. The mining operation is based in Paraguay. So at the moment, the operations are actually open in a few different countries. So South Africa, Brazil, but he's actually expanding. He's got a partnership with a card thing coming out very, very, very soon. The the business solutions is global. That's open to everyone, and it's free. So he's got a POS system, and he's got an online system as well for online businesses. The guy is amazing, and
so all that's ready right now. So like you have a Dash point of sale system you can use anywhere in the world with him.
Well, he's working on something. He said, believe he said November. He's working on something called Crypto Island, right? So I believe in Brazil and South Africa, it's okay. But he's working with, I believe, a Singapore bank, and he's using something that's called Crypto Island, right? So at the moment, if you want to use POS or online payment systems for businesses, it's a bit complex because it's a minefield. Each country has its own rules and regulations. So he's actually brainstormed and come up with some amazing ideas. Crypto Island. So basically, you've got these countries, and then you've got this cloud situation, right? So it's like a currency without borders. So all the legislation and rules falls on the banks, but in the cloud, you can exchange fiat currencies or cryptocurrency tokens and do all that stuff in the cloud anywhere in the world. This is a global solution for businesses, and this is absolutely huge. And the fees are very, very attractive as well. So I think this guy is onto something. I really like this guy, and yeah. I can't believe no one else is really talking about him. I saw the Daniel Diaz video, but I just thought it was an exchange. I didn't know he did all these different things. Absolutely amazing.
Yes. Core is working diligently behind the scenes on a lot of stuff. The main complaint people have had with Core is just that they don't talk enough about the awesome stuff they're doing. And this is obviously, not our job to just pat Core on the back, but there's a lot of legitimately good things that they've been doing. And I think it's kind of part of our duty to amplify those as you've been doing right now, right? And that's the final thought before I shut up and got to get going that I want to leave is I think that Dash has been a magnet to a lot of pioneers, just like Bitcoin was in the early days. But now a lot of not so pioneery people are on Bitcoin. It's kind of like it's the joke. It's a openly known concept, and then you get a lot of people, right? Like Bitcart, like Graham DeBarrow with Bitcart, who would just say, "Oh, Dash, it's like this is cool. This is why isn't everyone on this? I'm going to just make my business Dash only." You got like Robert Chinito, a Wall of Coins, who just like, man, Dash is great. I'm going to do that, even though the market keeps pounding on my door for other things. And you got a lot of these people, they're just jumping in on Dash. Very few, actually, in the beginning, just seeing how this is going to be huge. A lot more people are seeing that, and Dash is going to be the talent suck of crypto. So you just suck in all the best everything, all the best content producers, all the best developers, all the best business solutions. And eventually it's just going to go built on that foundation of all the best people in crypto working in the Dash ecosystem. Then it's just going to be an even more unstoppable, inevitable force than it already is. So I'm happy.
How's our time? I think we've gone pretty far over.
I think we got to run.
Yep. Mark?
Okay, let's wrap this up then. Thank you to those that have joined us in the live chat today. Also, thank you for your continued support on Dashforce News and the smooth transition of the new server. So please keep watching us, like, share, subscribe, do all that great stuff. I'd like to thank my two fellow amigos for joining me, and we'll see you next weekend. Chaps, would you like to depart with any final words?
Final and word. Peace.
There you go, chaps. So, yeah, please like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.